everywhere. Instagram is about to be. And we are live.
We're live.
We are live.
All right, guys. I'll let some people load up into the live. Give you guys a few minutes. Just chat with someone here in the DMs. All right. Let me turn this around. All right. So on Mondays we do Q&A in the stories, and there's a lot of really good questions. Mondays and Fridays we do Q&A, and I get a lot of the repeat questions. But you guys want some more in-depth answers. So this gives you guys a chance to go in detail with me, either through the comments or by calling in some questions and get some answers. So unfortunately, not everybody's part of my program, or else they wouldn't really have these questions. But people do have questions when it comes to building their business. And the unfortunate part is there's people out there who teach how to grow and scale a salon, but yet they've never grown and scaled a salon before. So the only issue with that is they don't know how to deal with the problems that occur when the thing that they're teaching doesn't work. Because not everything's one size fits all. There comes a time when a particular system may not work for a particular salon based on their unique salon situation. So if you don't own a salon, or if you've never owned a salon, you really can't teach how to grow a salon. And that's what I feel a lot of people are doing. Like, you're getting people out here who they own a suite, or they've done somewhat a good job of building their own personal business behind the chair, whether they rent or whether they own a suite, whatever the case may be, but they never really led a team. They never learned what it was like to build somebody else up. And when you own a salon, your whole main purpose is to really build a team, and your team builds the business. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there with their courses and with their programs, they've never done that before. So this gives me an opportunity to speak to any of you who are in a position that you just don't like the position you're in, and you want some help. So if you guys have any questions about your predicament that you're in, feel free to drop them. I got James monitoring the chat right now. And any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Couple good mornings. Couple. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful day. Beautiful. Guys, good morning. I just had a conversation. James, you got a question?
Just where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey, USA. There was a question, and let me see if I can tell her to hop in here too. I'm going to see. I'm going to tell her.
If you want to call in, the link is pinned in the chat.
Can you do me a favor? Hop on my live real quick and ask some questions.
And
yeah, so Remy, I'll give you a chance to hop in here. Again, she's from California, and she said that she needs to pay her stylist hourly because it's illegal not to. Not if your stylists are independent. A lot of my California peeps out here in the streets, they don't you don't really understand the law, the ABC law, when it comes to 1099ing your independent stylist in California. You do not have to pay an independent contractor hourly if you don't control the schedule and if you abide by the whole ABC framework. I sent her a Google Doc. So there's a whole 1099 breakdown that I structured to help places like California, New Jersey, and these other states out there who make you think that you need to pay everyone hourly, or there's certain, like, you can't do commission, you have to do share rental. It's just not true. There's a certain structure and there's certain laws that you have to abide by. And if you follow the laws and you construct your business in a manner that you could 1099 your stylist, you don't have to have them as employees. You just don't. It's a fact. And if you construct your operating agreement the right way, and you have a certain structure with your LLCs and who pays that stylist, you're completely within the law to have independent contractors in your salon. It's just a unique structure you need to adopt. That's all. So Remy, if you're on this live right now, please feel free to ask any of those questions.
Or click the link and join the show.
Yeah.
We have a couple California here. Hello, I'm Tanisha. Thank you for doing this. It's so important to me.
Yeah, Tanisha, drop a question.
Styling 730. We do hourly and bonus out. The rest equal the commission percentage.
Yeah, to me, there's not really a lot of incentive when everyone's getting paid the same amount of money. And you do have your bonus structure, but commission's the best way to do it. Here's how I do it. I I start people off at hourly at a certain level of their business because they're assisting. They're playing a role in the salon and they need your support. Now, after that, they switch to a completely independent stylist where they get 50% and I get 50%. I help build them up because I help manage some of the marketing for them. I teach them how to market themselves. They get enrolled into my coaching program and they have the ability to get an education that I'm helping pay for, that I'm supplying by being part of this salon. And so I'm investing more of the marketing dollars them towards attracting new clients for them to get built up, essentially. Once you've hit a certain level and you have a good client retention, you are doing your own marketing yourself with Instagram and Facebook and everything else, and your word of mouth is now picking up steam. You don't need the support of the salon as much. So then these truly become your clients. That's why I go from 50 to 55, 55 to 60, 60 to 65, and 65 to 70. Now, 70% commission does not work everywhere at every location. If the rent is extremely high for that particular location, it may not make sense for the owner to give you a commission structure of 70%. I happen to pick locations where my rent's very, very low. So it enables me the ability to pass that cost of paying rent or cost of doing business on to the independent stylists who work in my salon. So if you were on like Fifth Ave in Manhattan, your rent's going to be astronomical. It may not make sense for the owner to give you 70% commission because if you were renting space there, if you had bought that building, it would be astronomical. So 60% is where you max out, but you could also charge a lot more. So the overhead expenses of those locations, it's not conducive to give the 70% commission structure. So you have to kind of work out your numbers and see what makes sense. Now, like I said, where I'm located, majority of my locations we max at 70, and that doesn't happen at 10,000 or $2,000 a week. That kicks in at 5K a week, but you get support all the way up there. You have support at the front desk, you have support with products, you have your own landing page made on a website for you. You get your own Google business page built for you. You have to monitor it and obviously work on it yourself and optimize it, but we give you the frameworks needed to build your business independently of our salon. And I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of owners don't go all in on that. To me, once you build your clientele, you can go anywhere you want. You can go to a suite, you can rent the chair, you can build out a little salon in your house. So what would make you want to stay in my salon? It's the fact that we support you. It's the fact that you're part of a team. It's the fact that we have continuing education. It's all of these different things that help me support you as a stylist and make you want to stay here. So owners, ask yourself, what are you doing to go above and beyond to keep people on your team? Like sometimes pay isn't everything. Like I've had people leave. I've given them the option to max out at 70% and they wanted to still go to a suite. So it's not going to be for everybody, but it didn't work out well for a lot of people who did that. Some people they flourish in that environment being in a suite. Some people don't. So you have to ask yourself as a stylist, like what are you bringing to the table to the salon? Are you adding value to the salon? And if so, if you don't need them to support you in your career anymore, then you should be entitled to a higher commission structure. Now, if you are a W 2 employee, you got to understand your salon owner, especially if they're covering the color cost, then they're covering your payroll tax plus your disability plus whatever insurances. As an employee, the owner of the salon takes on a lot, and that's fine. As an independent contractor, you then take on that responsibility of covering the taxes. Now, the color, how I do to my salons is I do parts and labor. It's a very simple, just way of doing things where I don't cover the color, the client covers the color. The stylist doesn't have to get a service charge taken out of their paycheck anymore. So it's very simple for me to grow and scale my business because I limit the amount of overhead that I have to endure as an owner. So when you talk about taxes, I think now it's up to like 15,500 or $14,600, whatever it is, you can give to your children uh, tax free because they're under the age of 18. However that works in your state and with the IRS, you can figure that out with your account. But if you do the math, if you are an independent stylist and you're bringing in 120 grand a year, let's say, in your pocket after your commission, and you cover your taxes because you're an LLC, you can now tax deferred give your each child, let's say, $15,000 to make the numbers easy. So out of that $15,000, if you have daycare, that goes into their checking account. That's a tax deduction for you. Your kids don't pay taxes on that. They don't pay an income tax on that. So that's $15,000 per child that you could take off your taxable income. Well, guess where you pay the daycare out of? Their checking account. Guess where you pay their school clothes out of? Their checking account. So it gives you the ability as an independent stylist now to get access to the world of deductions that you don't get as a W 2 employee. So it's really important that as an owner, you cross all your T's and dot all your I's and make sure that you're creating the environment to support your team to the best of your abilities. And if that means keeping them on as W 2 employees, then you keep them on as W 2 employees. But in most cases, if you look around the landscape here, at least in the United States, suites are popping up everywhere. And people want to be more independent. And then when they go to the suite, they realize how lonely it is. Some people like it. Some people actually don't grow and flourish in that environment. So, how do you adapt your salon to the ever changing landscape of the salons going on right now, the suites going on, the industry? So, this is a particular method that I came up with that works well for me. So, it enables my team to be truly independent. So, James, I'm going to jump back to the Q&A.
Yep, you already kind of answered this one, but Stylin 730 elaborated on his question and said, "Do they pay for their hair color or you?"
Yeah, that's something I teach in my program called Parts and Labor. And it's funny, a lot of people can wrap their head around that. But once you adopt the parts and labor and you adopt the 1099 structure in your salon, if you think about the bottleneck in your business, which is obviously how to become the most profitable salon you could be, what's the bottleneck? Typically, it's overuse of color and it's all your expenses when it comes to payroll, your payroll taxes. So you eliminate two of those things that essentially make you more profitable.
I live in Dallas. Do you have any branches in my place?
No, there are some affiliate locations that are in my program that are in the Dallas area. DM me and I'll set you up with the salons who might be close by to you.
Nelson does hair. What is their cap in your business? So I'm guessing commission percentage.
Yeah, their commission cap is 70%.
Okay. Hair Ninja 85 by Christian. How do you get or find a distributor for color and products as an independent contractor slash stylist?
DM me. I'll set you up. As an independent contractor stylist, you can get access to like Salon Centric, Cosmoprof, but depending on what state you're in, I can set you up with the distributor or I can help fulfill your needs myself by just putting you in my network. And I'll get you access to thousands of color lines, literally like, well, hundreds of color lines, thousands of products. So DM me the word products, so I know it's you, and tell me the question you had on the chat. I will set you up with a product feed in my website backend, so you can be a licensed stylist on there, and you can order color products, anything you need to fulfill your role as a stylist.
Then we have Tennis has booth. When you transition your stylist from booth rentals to commission, who got the 60 and who got the 40? And did you still provide them with products?
I still provide them with products, and I start at 50, but my team starts. I take the 50, they get 50. Then we go up to 55, where I get 45, they get 55. Then they get 60, I get 40. When I first introduced my independent routine here, my little concoction I came up with for our industry, I gave them 60, I took 40 because I wanted them to be my test guinea pigs for this model I created of independent stylist. And it's worked out great so far. So as the owner, I supply the environment for them to perform the services. The salon itself, the operating agreement of the salon is only a place to facilitate an environment to perform cosmetology services. They don't perform any services themselves. They are a place for independent stylists to perform services. So it's almost like a WeWork is what I created. And my salon is also a private membership association. So that's just another layer of protection I have from these local state ordinances trying to reach their hands into your business, telling you what you can and what you can't do here in America. So I'm very familiar with the Constitution, and that's what I use as my protection for my salon.
I think that's a great piece of advice, is to understand your constitution,
Yeah.
understand your rights. It's a
Each
great place to
state
begin.
constitution and the federal constitution does protect your freedom, your right to assemble, freedom of assembly, your right to association, and your right to the private contract or to contract. So just look up what statute of your state constitution, and then obviously the federal constitution is your First Amendment and your 14th Amendment protect those two rights.
Okay. Steph Shear, do you do any live in-person classes?
I do live in-person classes. I also have a program where I meet 3 times a week with my members of my community, and we go over a strategy for that week, and we go over 2 calls for Q&A. So we break down anything high level that pertains to the industry today and things that are working in my salon, that I create a framework and a methodology to share with my community. And then we have 2 other calls that week that we go over questions and answers pertaining to that strategy or any other strategy that they're implementing in their salon. So DM me the word grow, and we'll hop in a conversation. I'll let you know how you could join that. But in live events, I do speak live. I just rather do it on Zoom so I can speak to many people and keep the cost down for me to speak.
Tanisha, I apologize for butchering your name. It does read Tennis Has Booth, but it is Tanisha. I apologize for that. You should put a period in between your names so people don't get it confused. I read it at 2nd grade level, so I apologize. Raphael, the stylist. I've seen stylists charge an extra fee for color services, which is usually less than $10 and is added on top of each color service. Do you think this is a good idea?
Yes, it depends on how you're adding it on. When you add on your color to the ticket, it needs to be added on to a different section that you're giving retail on. So if you're mixing 4 bowls of color and you're charging $5 for a bowl of color, let's say, it's going to be a $20 extra charge. That charge needs to be done as a retail product or a separate charge than the service. You're giving commission on the service. When you start building in and layering services with product costs, extra product cost, you're giving a commission on the extra product costs. You don't really recoup the total amount you're spending in product costs. So it's important you separate the parts and the labor.
Okay. Hair Ninja by Christian. Products. How do I find a distributor for color and products? You already asked that question. It was already answered. That's all I see in the chat.
Beautiful.
Right
If
now.
you guys have a problem getting products, DM me. I'll help you guys get products. Like, I have very close relationships with many different distributors, and I'll get you in contact with distributors, or you can order through us at the warehouse.salon. Just go to the brand and DM them, or message them like, hey, who's your distributor in my area? That's one way of doing it. Or message me and I'll get you access to literally hundreds of different brands. All right, guys, that's it. If you got any more questions, make sure you head over to my story and ask the question right there. That's a wrap for today's Monday Q&A. We are going to be changing these times for my lives here because I have a couple things I'm working on that are going to be stepping into the 12 o'clock time zone. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. We'll let you guys know. But thanks for watching today. Like I said, jump to my stories for the Q&A, and I will see everybody tomorrow.